Hello. Can the school board improve the nutritional needs of the students, and how? Through the budget.
Mr. Chavez?
I believe that the school board can help set the goals with respect to your question, the needs of the nutritional needs of the students, but that's not really the place for the school board in terms of implementing or developing policy. I think that the superintendent would have to take up that effort in coordination with the people that offer the foods and the meals for our students. I don't think that the school board really can have an effect on there other than to serve as a sounding board for the superintendent and to help guide and move a process forward.
Now that our President Obama has taken office, Michelle Obama has strongly encouraged healthier eating in children across our great country. A bill has just been signed that'll be increasing how many cents per student each public school will be getting. When you deal with federal monies that come in as far as food, commodities are commodities. They're canned items, there's frozen items. That's what commodities are. The school board doesn't have too much pull on how that will be taking place or what would be changing. That's what Mary Ann McCann is for. She is the director of the nutritional program, and it goes from her hands and reports out to our superintendent. So a board as individuals doesn't have much pull on what happens with that.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all the question. Would you repeat it, please?
Yes, can the school board improve the nutritional needs of the students through the budget?
I don't think the school board can do that. I think the policy of the school board reflecting the community, which would be to provide a good nutritional meal for the students. Beyond that, I think it would be the responsibility of the nutritionists and others within the system to see how they can best use the resources to provide that for our students. So you would have to look at what is the most beneficial meal for our students with the resources that you have available to you. And I think that's their responsibility. We can only say that we need to provide that because that's what our community would want.
I agree, this is not a school board issue. However, it seems to me that more schools are becoming more conscious of what they're feeding their children. And it would be up to our department head here at the school to start taking a look at how much salt is used and so forth. But also, the state has a lot of control over what goes on in our local district when it comes to the menu. So this is something that hopefully the schools will take a look at and start to provide healthier food, vegetables, fruits, some meats, fish. And I understand that the candy machines and so forth have been removed from the schools, which is a good start.
You know, frankly, I think that is the kind of need or concern or interest that could be brought to the school board's attention by the public and conveyed to the administration as a priority. But it would ultimately have to be implemented by the administration. And I think, you know, maybe one of the suggestions I would have in how to implement it would be to, you know, perform some kind of research or a study internally to determine what the obstacles are, because there are going to be regulatory obstacles, obstacles in the form of contractual obligations already incurred. But you know, I have no doubt in my mind that a well-nourished student is going to have a more active brain and is going to learn better and quicker and ultimately be a better functioning person in the world.
Yes,
I also agree that that's not a duty of the board to do that. That's something that Mary Ann McCann has to take upon her shoulders and do. At this point, it hasn't been done. I don't know if it's just because of the budget, if it's easier to buy something that's processed and so forth. It's something like that we got to look outside the box, just like our education. This is something that we got to look outside the box and see what we can get that's better for our children. But that's one of these issues that will be addressed within the next couple months. Thank you.
This is an area where certainly welcome public input. If there's particular issues, bring that to the board and the administration. We have experts on staff, hopefully that can bring ideas for us. Board should ask the superintendent for recommendations for budget changes. As we go through the budgeting process as administration and board, we can certainly look at moving funds around if they're available. We will have probably enormous challenges going forward with our budget, and we're going to have to make some very difficult decisions across the whole system. So, again, we're going to need as much public input, staff input, as we can get to all come to some consensus. Thank you.
I'm a firm believer in nutrition stimulates our children's minds. That's a given. We can do studies and facts on it. That's a given. Something that the budget needs to really take a look at so these programs do not get cut. But on the other hand, I'm looking at it as our students that are in our community that are in poverty, that they do go to school and get that one meal. How do we expect our students, our children, to exceed or successfully succeed in our schools on a one meal? They go home, maybe they don't have the meals on their tables that some of us do. That's where we need to collaborate with our outside agencies to make sure after school programs are getting some apples, something for these kids to be able to take home, so when they're doing their homework, it stimulates their mind so they have a little something on their table, maybe for their fellow siblings. Collaborate with Rocky Mountain, team builders. There's many, many people that are coming to mind right now, but make sure that these kids are taken care of as well. Thank you.
I believe that any concern of yours is a concern of mine, and if that's nutrition, then it's certainly a board issue. I believe that your question asked how I would change nutrition through some sort of budget. I believe in applying for grants, and those grants have everything to do with the budget. Those grants, I'm sure there's plenty of them for student nutrition. I'm sure they have guidelines in which we need to follow. We'd follow them, and we'd get a healthier student body and a better performing one. Thank you.
I believe it's everybody's responsibility to try to get more money for better nutrition for our kids. It's vital for their overall health, and I want to say that Mary Ann McCann is doing a super job. I admire her because I look at her as a leader. She's educated herself on best practices, best food for our kids, and our nutrition program within our schools is one of the good stories. Thank you.